For as long as God has been dealing with people, people have had a tendency to try to take God and to form Him into their own image. They still want the blessings of God, they just want to do it in a way that's more conducive to what they want and the way that they think things ought to be. And for as long as people have been doing that, God has been telling them, it doesn't work that way. We see that very clearly today in our reading from Exodus 33 to 36. Now remember, Moses has been up on the mountain receiving instructions from the Lord about building a sanctuary where he would dwell among his people and be their God. But then the people got impatient. They said, Aaron, Moses and God are taking too long. How about you build us a God? And then he can lead us into the promised land. So Aaron, the one that God is talking about up there to Moses, saying that he is going to set him apart as his specially anointed high priest, that Aaron collects the gold from the people and he makes an idol. Now he wasn't making a new god. This is really important. When he finished, he holds up the golden calf and he says, look, the God who led you out of the land of Egypt. You see, they didn't want a new God. They wanted the same God and all of his blessings, but they wanted him in a nice little package that they could manage more easy. A God that they didn't have to wait on. A God that they could carry. A God that they could meet on their terms. And the Lord told Moses, it doesn't work that way. I will not be a manipulated idol. I will only be the Lord. And if you want to do things your way, in my name, I won't be a part of that. I won't live among a people like that. And we need to hear this clearly, because we can be praying and reading our Bibles and going to church and doing all kinds of religious, obedient looking and spiritual sounding things. And in the end, we're actually in our hearts building an idol, because we're only doing it all because we want to get what we want from God. God says it doesn't work that way. And he told Moses, so I'll send my angel to keep my promise to get the people safely to the promised land, and that angel will bless them with everything that they need for life. But I myself am not going with you. Now, if the Lord made that offer in our churches today, I wonder. I have a feeling that a lot of people would take him up on that offer. If they were honest, they would say, this is wonderful because I never wanted God anyways. All I wanted was his blessings. But Moses knew the Lord. It says that he used to meet the Lord face to face, just like a man meets his friend. And Moses knew, therefore, that being rich and satisfied and comfortable in the promised land meant nothing if the Lord himself wasn't there with him, because his presence was their identity. His presence was their hope. His presence was their life. So Moses pleaded with the Lord. He said, Lord, if you yourself are not going with us, then please don't send us from here. And then he said something really important. He said, Lord, isn't your presence with your people the one and only thing that makes us different than all the other people on the earth? You see, it's not our level of comfort or our personal happiness and success that identifies us as God's people. It's not our church activity and our religious devotion. It's not our big smiles or our spiritual sounding words. The one thing that makes us different as the people of God is simply that the presence of the Lord is with us. So the Lord agreed to go with Moses, and of course he planned on going with them all along. And when Moses came down from the mountain, he takes up a collection from the people. Gold, silver, bronze, all kinds of cloth, wood, oil, spices, precious stones, and they begin to build the sanctuary. But this time, they did it his way. A phrase that you see over and over again in the next several chapters as they describe the building is that the people did it just as the Lord commanded Moses. And when the people of God finally do God's work, God's way, the Lord always meets them powerfully in the midst of it.